If you've had a history with Paladins or even watched some of my videos on it, you know it's good, then you're probably left asking the same question: what happened to this game? From doing an actual decent job at competing with Overwatch, one of the most popular games in 2016 and 17, to boiling down over the years into the last loyal players, and then even killing most of them off. Buckle in, dear viewer, the video ahead is gonna be a roller coaster. What happened to Paladins? What went wrong? Don't forget to subscribe. Now, assuming you know just a wee bit of the backstory of this game, I'll make this part quick. Though it was years in the making, Paladins was first announced at the 2015 Gamescom, an event that lasted from August 5th to 9th. While most of the games being showcased and announced at this event were, well, more to the bigger side of things: Fallout 4, Halo 5, Guardians, MSG 5, Star Wars Battlefront, and Overwatch, Paladins was still in the midst. Now, most of these games have a pretty big company or group behind them, like 343 or Bethesda, but Paladins, squeezed in between these massive entries, didn't have the same kind of money behind it. Not saying Hi-Rez wasn't known or poor. At the time, Hi-Rez had a couple games under their belt, but at the top of the list was Smite, a 2014 online multiplayer fantasy arena game similar to League of Legends or Dota 2. Once again, though they had some other games at the time, Smite was by far their most popular. So they might not be at 343's level, but this isn't an unknown company. Just a year later, on September 16th, 2016, the mysterious Paladins entered open beta on Steam's early access program, and within a week hitting roughly 800,000 downloads and shooting up into the top 10 most played games on Steam. If you ask me, that's a pretty good way to start. Of course, when the players shot up as they did, a lot of the people gave this game a shot, recorded their gameplay, and uploaded it to YouTube. Little did they know, they would still be doing it to this day. At this time, future Paladins content creators were first giving this game a shot, and a lot of the things that players noticed were similarities. Similarities between Paladins and Overwatch. Now, I'm not here to go any deeper into this fiasco, but I will mention the obvious. There are some aspects and characters who pretty closely resemble some other aspects and characters from Overwatch. Now, I don't know all of Hi-Rez's intentions, and once again, I'm not here for that, but a lot of the comments and reviews seem to notice as well. Bike stands up with the interesting comment: "This is just Fortnite, but for broke people." Air Balloon has just broken out of the Matrix: "All these new online games look the same to me. He's learned too much." O-Face jumps right into the middle of a hot topic: "So who copied who?" While not all of these comments focus on Overwatch, it gives the game a bad taste for those who haven't tried it out yet. "Hey man, I'm thinking about installing Paladins." "That game? Isn't it just a ripoff?" Now, I'm not here to discuss whether it is a ripoff or not, but keep in mind that these reviews, which aren't necessarily wrong, gave the game a bad smell in a way. I think it's the best way to think about it. Most of the people who played it actually enjoyed the heck out of this game and kept playing for many, many years. The majority of these comments are very positive, but I believe that's because the Paladins community has a secret police force that silences anybody who stands even slightly against them, or the game was centered on a somewhat decent concept: customization. The customization allowed for, you know what? I think I've said this before, haven't I? The customization in Paladins is amazing. On top of the game getting a new character every 2 to 3 months, you can, with the customization in hand, take any character you like and turn them into someone you're not only comfortable with, but you're also a beast at. While this does play a part in the fairness of a game, this also allows you to play multiple different playstyles with a single character and make it work. It's incredible. Now, once again, this does have a very slight negative effect on the gameplay, but it only really matters in ranked. Like some people just having a better deck than yours, or your tank picked a deck that promotes a strange playstyle when you pick the playstyle that doesn't match what he picked. You get what I'm saying. All these little things don't really make a difference in quick play, but in ranked it can mean the world. So Paladins had a kind of special customization that was very attractive to most players. On top of that, Paladins was regularly updated. I mean, it wasn't anything super big or exciting, but it was still a patch. On May 8th, 2018, however, Paladins officially was released, previously still being in open beta for those years. Those days were no more. With this, we got an announcement claiming that all the updates and patches from here on will be bigger, better, stronger, and faster. Though at the time we didn't really know what this meant, we soon would find out. It was looking like this was an actual good game with a decent company behind it. With this first patch, we didn't get a new champion, but Hi-Rez was hard at work fixing bugs. Keep in mind that when the game was in open beta, probably would have been the best time to do that, but hey, at least it's happening. Nab 'em! Alright, Mario, I thought the recent success of your movie would have given you, well, something a little more than this, but that was your dead giveaway. I didn't want to do this, but you asked for it. Okay, you got me. Keep your money. Now let's get out of here. That was easy. Mario Maker was boring. That was unnecessary. Just subscribe. Years go by with Hi-Rez adding new seasons, champions, patches, you name it. While the player base didn't change drastically, the numbers were on the decline. Now, if you're interested, you can go check out my video on how Overwatch 2 died if you're trying to compare dates and events between the two games. But over the course of Paladins runtime, it's been a rough run. After open beta, it was mixed. It would go up and down, but after the official launch, we got another super big spike in interest. But after that, it just slowly started sliding downhill. Now, how could this be? We've mentioned the aspects of the game that brought and kept people playing, like the customization, but why did the numbers go down? We've gone over updates and patches, and they seem as if they're great, so this all begs the question, what the heck happened? We discussed at the beginning of the video that the game had a bad smell in a way. This kept a lot of people from playing the game. Well, it's just a ripoff, right? The game is in Hi-Rez's hands though. It's up to them to either give in to these comments and reviews, and it's up to them to turn the game around and create something amazing. So over the years, they made new characters, new game modes, new maps. These characters, I've always said it started after Corvus, were different from other games. They were unique. They put more and more time, and in the end, I give this game credit for having some of the greatest patches and update a game can get, especially on March 31st, 2021, when we got the Trials of the Realm, a new feature that allowed you to unlock even more stuff. Now this is even more confusing. If the game and company is so great, then why did it never succeed? See, while the smell of the game kept new people from playing it, Hi-Rez kept the player base playing by the updates and unique customization system to this style of video games. Especially after the launch of the game, the updates and patches just kept getting better. Now these are all great at keeping an audience, but not gaining an audience. You see, after Paladins was deemed a ripoff, Hi-Rez put a lot of time and money into creating more and more unique champions, proving to everyone that it wasn't a ripoff. But the underlying problem here is quality. The quality of their new content was amazing, but the game itself was not only a bug infestation, but was lacking in general quality from the beginning. I understand they might have been going for a visual style that could be close to Fortnite. I know it wasn't out yet, but even then the lighting wasn't right, and don't even talk about the contrast. They spent a buttload of money and time on adding to the game, but completely forgetting the fact that there are just so many bugs and problems in the game. On top of that, they didn't advertise anything. How are people supposed to know that your game isn't actually a ripoff when you don't show anything? I've seen dozens of comments claiming that they love Paladins but never would have known it even existed if it wasn't for some silly situation out there. Hi-Rez, get on that. How will anybody ever know that the updates are great, the new champions are unique and amazing, tons of cosmetics and great customization, when this game just hides in its tiny corner of the internet or never tries to disturb the ocean that is interest? It's sad, really. A couple of years ago, Paladins could have ruled the world, when Overwatch was in its drying out phase, as I called it in my last video. So many people were looking for something similar, and Paladins was ideal. None of these players would ever play this game if they never knew it was there. Even if they did find and play the game, they would be met with some flashy and excitingly colorful updates, but underneath was just a poor quality game. Now these seemingly simple problems add up into a maelstrom of effect. Paladins numbers had boiled down to the point where only the people who loved the heck out of the game were playing. The people with 5k hours of watch time, but then even these people started leaving, but why? The game got new characters and tons of other stuff, including map remodeling and adding, all in 6 weeks, but why? Well, dare I mention a certain champion. On October 12th, 2022, we got the Last Remains patch. And with this patch came a very certain champion who would send Paladins off into the deep. Kasumi. Now, I've talked about new characters for all multiplayer games being super overpowered for like a week or two, then it goes back down to normal through patches and all that fun stuff. But Kasumi was different. This was a character that needed no skill or talent to even kill the most skilled of flanks through walls. I'm not going to go deeper into her skill set, but rest assured that she kills easily even behind cover. I recently had an awesome and deep conversation with an Eevee main with, I would assume, many an hour on this character. They left because of Kasumi and the quality of the game. Hi-Rez, this is big. And that's not the only user who quit because of Kasumi. Ya boy Otheron speaks up.
Kasumi made me genuinely hate the game, and I never quit because of a character. She was probably the most unenjoyable character to face.
DOS3 says, I quit because of Kasumi. I was playing Vora and using every movement tech known to man. I was tracked perfectly and then died to 1k damage through a wall. I quit the game, opened Steam, and uninstalled with a face made of stone. I can only assume he looked like this. Sorry, I had to. And this, sadly, isn't where it ends. On February 23rd, 2023, Paladins released the Emergence patch. Now, this was crucial, with the numbers even before Kasumi boiling down to their last loyal fans, and then pushing away so many of them with Kasumi. This was their chance to bring at least some of them back. Could they create a character that would unite the broken fanbase again? This needed to happen, and on February 23rd, we got the front line, Nyx. Could this Nyx character bring back Paladins? Well, let's see the comments, shall we? Liquid says exactly what most of the creators have been saying for years now, including me. Stop adding new champs and fix the game. Agreed. iWaffles says, these Ramatra changes look sick. DDG_official gaming comments, so Paladins go to Ramatra as well? Only difference is role is support and a female? Ricardo Etienne says, suffer as I have. Ruben stands up and predicts the future. Next thing you know, they're gonna announce a levitating healer who shoots orbs and is a monk. So the fans had a lot to say about this Nyx character, claiming that she was a copy of Ramatra from Overwatch 2. Amazing character, BTW. And when I took a look into her abilities, they are not wrong at all. So this was probably the worst thing that could happen. Paladins was deemed a ripoff years ago and has spent every 6 weeks since then trying to prove that they weren't. And now, with how far they've come, we're right back at the beginning. Now, if you think that this is the end, get ready. Now, I know this isn't as big of a problem as some of the other events that we've talked about in this video, but it still has been a problem with a negative effect for years now. I made a joke earlier poking fun at Hi-Rez being like the USSR with their secret police and stuff, but just listen to this. The gap between the content creators / audience and Hi-Rez is so very large. Hi-Rez just completely ignores the people who give their life and time into making videos or streams on their game, in some cases, daily. This is an amazing way to subtly tell your audience that you don't even really care about them. Wonderful. Simply put, Hi-Rez was a smaller company with a lot to prove when Paladins was released, and then it was deemed a ripoff of Overwatch and many other games out there. Were there similarities? Yes, but anybody can make dozens of similarities between a lot of games out there. So for the next several years, Hi-Rez put everything into proving that it's not a ripoff, all the while making it look pretty and shiny, but never affecting the abstract value of the game. Instead of genuinely fixing bugs, they added Trials of the Realm, and that had a load of bugs. And though they put all of this time and money into showing it's far from a ripoff, they never actually advertised it, leaving it in its tiny corner of the internet and never capitalizing on the fact that Overwatch, its biggest rival, was dying. All those players were looking for something. Paladins had it, but never let them know. And over those years, the player base boiled down into the last loyal fans who've been playing forever and genuinely loved the game. Hi-Rez released a champion who could counter even the most skilled movement attacks in the game, and who made an entire class of characters useless, thus pushing away even those who passed the test of time. Then, when it mattered most, Hi-Rez failed to unite the broken, passionate fans by creating a character who was very, very similar to Overwatch, wrapping up this whole situation right back where it started, a ripoff. This whole thing is a mess. As a guy who used to play a bunch of this game a while ago, but who left because of the poor quality of the game, I hate to hear about this, I genuinely do. I hate to hear that Hi-Rez created a gem of a game and then crashed it into the ground. Like I had previously said, it's in Hi-Rez's hands to either save the game or to break it. And to all those out there who were pushed away by Kasumi, your attempts at outmaneuvering her, well done. I see you. What would you do if you were in Hi-Rez's shoes? What do you think of this situation? What did you start playing after Paladins went downhill? I'm interested. I love you guys. I hope you... Wait a second. I hear something. Like a little voice. What is that? Ah, it's changing. Oh, right. Elden Ring. Elden Ring is the greatest video game ever created. What am I talking about? What did you start playing? You were playing Elden Ring. Join me, brothers and sisters, in the quest for the Elden Ring. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and remember, life is short. Play great games. In January 2023, the average daily player count for Overwatch 2 was roughly 2,124,797. If you ask me, that's a pretty good start to a year, especially considering the fact that Overwatch and Blizzard have been in more controversy than most games and companies out there. But some of the most recent statistics have shown that the daily